Hopefully everyone can see that okay.
Yep.
All right, great. So I just wanted to just tell everyone a little bit about myself. I've been a PA for almost 20 years. I work mainly with women in women's health. And so I do deal a lot with metabolism and energy and weight, because that's what women want to talk about, right? But so I've been doing this for about 20 years. And when I was in school, we don't really learn about holistic care or natural healing. We just learn Western medicine, which I totally and 100% believe in. But I always felt like there was something missing. So I really was excited when I discovered doTERRA about 5 years ago. And I felt like that missing link was kind of come together. And so I love that it gives our families an opportunity to take care of our own health and take charge of our own health, so we can take care of our families and not have to run to the doctor all the time. So what I want to do tonight is I want to talk a little bit about metabolism and our metabolic health, because I want to be able to not just live longer, but also live healthier and be able to keep up with my kids and my grandkids and even my great grandkids. I mean, my grandma's like 88 years old and still walks a mile and a half a day, and she's sharp. And so I want to be able to do that. I'm sure you guys do too. And so, when we talk about our most powerful life, we want to be healthy at every age, even when we get older. And so tonight I want to talk about, is our metabolism controlling us, or do we control our metabolism? In the United States, there's really a need for an awakening. I see a lot of patients in the last 20 years. I used to see some pre-diabetes, and now almost half of my labs that come in are pre-diabetes or more. So their sugars are out of control, and it's really blown up probably the last 5 years, maybe more the last couple of years, but it's just a ton of pre-diabetes. And so we're going to talk about biological aging and our health span and metabolic health and some of the things that we can do to slow some of that aging. And so when I see patients at my clinic, there's, most of the complaints are, they deal with energy, they're gaining weight. We deal a lot with depression and anxiety. People can't sleep very well. They have a hard time managing their stress, and they have a lot of brain fog. And so, these keep a lot of people from living their most powerful life. So what I love at doTERRA is that they don't come to this with a one thing fixes everything. A lot of companies do that, but what they do is they take the whole aspect into consideration. And so they really base a lot of this on nutrition and digestion as the base of our health. And if we don't have nutrition and digestion, then everything else falls apart. We have to be able to move and eat healthy. So, if we're not doing that, no matter what we do, we won't be able to have good energy. We won't be able to lose weight. We won't sleep well or manage our stress. And so I love that doTERRA does not just, have one product that says, oh, it's going to fix everything. So, and so I want to talk about our metabolic health and what is good metabolic health. We talk about healthy weight, how our clothes fit and things, but really good metabolic health is so much more. We want to be able to eat healthy. We want to make sure we're moving every day, have healthy connections or relationships. We want to be able to manage stress. And we really want to have smart supplementation. So it's important. We don't think of that as a metabolic health pillar, but there's a lot of supplements out there that aren't very good. And we also, even if we're eating healthy, we don't get the same nutrients out of the soil and from our food that our grandparents did. So, if I wanted to get the same nutrients out of an orange that my great grandfather ate, I would have to eat 6 oranges to get the same nutrients. And so we're really depleted. So it's important to have supplementation, but it's hard to know which supplementation is good and what is not good. And so in the United States, our metabolic health isn't very good. They did a research study on the National Health and Nutrition, and they studied 55,000 people 20 years old or older, and they found that only 6.8% of those people had a good metabolism and good cardiovascular health. And so, we're not doing very good. That means out of every 14 people we meet, 13 of them are not, they don't have good metabolic health. So, we kind of have to think, what is your blood pressure? What is your blood sugar? Is your health, or is your weight healthy? And, what's your cholesterol? And so our metabolic health and biological age are inseparable. And biological age is kind of the age of our cells. And so, we meet people, like say we go to a class reunion and we see people and we're like, oh my gosh, they look so good. They look so much younger than what everyone else looks like. And then we see the other people too, and we're like, oh my gosh, like we think to ourselves, they look so old. And just like our appearance doesn't always match our age, our cells do that too. And our cells can age, slower or faster than what our real age is. So when we talk about our lifespan, we are living longer, but are we living, healthier? So we might live, a lot longer, but those last 8 years of our life really are spent pretty poorly. And so studies have showed that, our last 8 years, we're, bedridden, or we don't have good mental function, it's really poor quality of life. And so we want to be able to, go to the end of our life living healthy and being able to do the things that we want to do. If we want to be able to get out of the tub and get up if we fall down, or, think clearly. So a lot of our markers in our aging starts around 25, and it steadily drops from there. And there's a molecule in our body that every single cell has, and it's called NAD+. NAD+ has been in a lot of the research lately, and I've been listening to a lot of podcasts, and this one's really a hot topic right now. So NAD+ is in every single cell, and if we have our energy cycle, at the end of that energy cycle, we produce a molecule called ATP, and that's what our energy, that is our energy. And NAD+ is the precursor to that energy, or that ATP, sorry. And so every single cell has to have this. And if we don't have this, we die. And this, we have about 50% of the NAD when we're around 50 years old that we did when we were 20. So it really starts dropping. And NAD plus helps us also with our muscle mass and our aging process. It helps our mitochondrial function better. And so this is a very necessary chemical. They did a study, and this was a really interesting study done in 2019. They took mice and that were identical and the same age, and they gave one group NAD plus and the other group normal saline, and they watched how they aged. And if you look at this, the mouse on the right, has gray hair. It's kind of thin and doesn't look very good. It's not shiny. Even his ears and his little nose is not very healthy looking. And so the mouse on the left looks so much younger and healthier. And they even saw that there was some reversing of aging in these mice. They slept better, and they also were able to run on their little wheel faster and better when they had the NAD plus. And so it's a critical molecule in our body. And I'm going to come back to this in a little while. But I want to talk about some of the metabolic health obstacles that we have. We have maturing fat cells, which I know my fat cells have matured over the years, not very happy about it. We have blood sugar spikes, and really a lot of the blood sugar spikes lead to insulin spikes. And insulin is a major problem in the United States called insulin resistance. We have cellular integrity, so we're going to talk about that today, and we're going to talk about inferior supplements. So doTERRA has created this MetaPWR system. It came out in September, and it's just been amazing at some of the things that it does. And we're going to address the declining NAD. We're going to talk about how we can smooth out our sugar and our insulin spikes. We're going to talk about how to curb some cravings, inhibit our fat cells from maturing, and also how we can provide support to our cells in our body. So the first metabolic health obstacle that I want to go over is our maturing fat cells. So our fat cells, we get, when we're about in our late teens, we end up with the same amount of fat cells that we really will have for the rest of our lives. And so we don't lose them, we don't gain them, we just they get bigger or they shrink, but we keep about the same amount every year. Now we do have about 5 to 10% die every year, but our body will replace those fat cells with 5 to 10% more fat cells. So really we're keeping the same amount every year. And so what the MetaPWR metabolic blend has come out, they have this is the first step in the system. And there was Slim and Sassy that doTERRA had. And what they did, this metabolic blend is an oil, and it has lemon, ginger, peppermint, cinnamon, and grapefruit. And this is what the Slim and Sassy had. But they took the formula and the ratios, and they did a bunch of different ratios, and they did some studies on it. And they showed which one would inhibit the maturation of these fat cells. And so these fat cells, when we get new fat cells, or the ones that are replacing those ones that die, they start out as small. And as we eat, they accumulate fatty acids, and they balloon up until they're larger. And so what this ratio did, they found that the new ratio inhibits the maturation of those fat cells the best. And it comes in 4 different types of forms. So they have the oil, and you can add the oil to your water and sip on it throughout the day, or you can do the soft gels, and that's my favorite way of doing it. I take the soft gels 3 times a day. If you want to, like if you're feeling really like craving carbs and feeling snacky, you can do the beadlets, and the beadlets have 1/4 of a drop in them, and you just pop them between your teeth, or you can do the gum. The gum has a drop in it. Now the gum is a natural gum, so it doesn't last a long time, but if you're feeling like you need to have something kind of chewy, it's a really good way to kind of curb that craving. The next one I want to talk about is our blood sugar spikes. So if we took a car and we accelerated really fast, and then we slammed on the brakes, and then we accelerated again and slammed on the brakes, we did that day in and day out, our car would start to fall apart a lot faster. And so our body is like that with our blood sugars. When we eat something really sugary, our blood sugar goes up, and it causes our body to produce a lot of insulin. Because if we have too much sugar in our blood, it literally can kind of, in a way, turn our blood into like a thick, gooey syrup. And that starts to ruin all of the blood vessels in our body. It starts to ruin the blood vessels in our kidneys, in our eyes, our brain, our heart's pumping around, gooey, sticky blood. And it really ages our body. So every time we have a huge fluctuation of sugar, we have to make a lot of insulin. And insulin is kind of bad for our body when we have too much of it. Insulin causes our blood vessels to harden. It causes us to be really tired. It tells our body to gain weight and store fat, and it actually tells our body not to burn fat. It makes us crave more sugars. And so overall, it really starts to cause a lot of havoc on our body. And that's before we even turn our blood into syrup. Eventually, that's what happens when we get diabetes. So we don't want these huge fluctuations in blood sugars. We don't want our blood sugar to go too high, and we don't want it to drop down too low. And so this next part in the system is the MetaPWR Assist. And this is such a cool product. So this product you take with your about 15 to 30 minutes before your largest meal, or you can even take it more than once a day. You can take it with a couple meals if you need to. I take it whenever I know I'm going to be eating carbs. And so what it does is it slows down how fast your sugars absorb into your bloodstream. And this really makes a big difference, because if the faster our sugars absorb into our bloodstream, the higher insulin has to go. And so if we can slow that down, then our insulin doesn't have to spike so high. And if our insulin can stay low, we're able to lose weight and not crave sugars. And it really prevents some of that aging in our body. And so this product has some pretty neat supplements in it. It has mulberry leaf extract. And mulberry leaf extract on research has shown that it reduces your blood sugars by 42%. It really slows down the absorption of our sugars. It also decreases inflammation in the body. It has protection for your liver cells, and it also promotes weight loss. And so that's the mulberry leaf extract. The other supplement that it has in it is berberine. I don't know if you guys have heard about berberine. It's really a hot topic now in some of the anti-aging podcasts with the scientists. And berberine is very similar in its mechanism of action to metformin. And I don't know if a lot of you guys have heard about metformin. I think a lot of you probably have. But metformin is for insulin resistance and diabetes. It's pretty much the first medication that gets prescribed. And so metformin, though, has some pretty nasty side effects. It can cause a lot of nausea and diarrhea. And so the berberine is very similar in how it acts, but it doesn't have those bad side effects. Now, you can take this with metformin. It's just fine. And I would never advise anyone to stop their medications if they're on something and they want to start this. Just take them both. There's no interactions and it's fine. But the berberine is really a really neat product. And then it has cinnamon in it as well. And cinnamon also helps control our blood sugar. And when I was at a class a couple of weeks ago, there was a gal there that she was a pretty young gal, and she's had diabetes for a long time. Her hemoglobin A1C, she hasn't been able to get below a 7.2. So she started taking the MetaPWR Assist, and I think she was on it for about 5 weeks. She went into her doctor, her diabetes doctor, and had her hemoglobin A1C checked, and it went down to a 5.4, which is totally normal. It's not even in the pre-diabetes range. And her diabetes doctor kind of freaked out and wanted to know what she was doing. And she just said MetaPWR Assist. And so, I think that was just so amazing that it could do that. I don't even have medications I can prescribe that would work like that. And so, so of course, eating a healthy diet and exercise is the very best way to control our sugar spikes and, and our sugar absorption. But being that, less than 7% of the United States has a healthy metabolism, we probably could use a little help in this area. So the next metabolic health obstacle I want to talk about is cellular integrity. And there's two things I really want to talk about first before I get into it. One is that collagen is the most abundant protein in our body, and we have about 28 different types of collagen. Collagen is the key ingredient in our connective tissue, and it makes up our tendons, our ligaments, our skin. It helps with our elasticity in our skin, helps our muscles. It gives our skin firmness, and it helps our body with structure and strength. And we actually start losing collagen around 25 years old. The other thing I want to talk about is that NAD. I want to kind of go back to this picture just because I think it's so powerful. But NAD is crucial for our mitochondria. And mitochondria is the little part in our cell that's responsible for all of our energy. And so NAD is crucial for mitochondrial health. And it helps, like I said, make that ATP so we have more energy. It also helps inhibit our stem cells from aging. And that is important because stem cells help us, create more cells and create the cells that we need. It also helps, NAD helps improve muscle mass and reduce muscle loss. And then the other thing that I want to talk about is it increases sirtuins. Now, sirtuins are really interesting. This is another hot topic that scientists are really looking into. So in our cell, every cell has DNA. And if we took our DNA and spun it out and stretched it out, it would be about 6 feet long. And so our our DNA is spun really tightly into these little spindles. And when we go to read our DNA, say if we have to make protein or something, it unspins this little spindle, reads that section, and then spins it back up. And sirtuins are what keeps that spindle really nice and tight. As we age, the sirtuins go down, most likely because our NAD goes down. And this DNA starts to unspindle, and areas get red that aren't supposed to be red. And that's where aging comes in and disease. And so we really want to keep up with our production of our sirtuins, because it keeps our DNA healthy. It helps our aging, helps protect our brain and our brain energy. So it's super important. The NAD also helps our insulin work better, and it helps our mitochondrial function. So this is kind of where MetaPWR Advantage comes into play. And so a MetaPWR Advantage is going to combine collagen, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. And it has NMN and NADH in it. And NMN and NADH are the precursors to help our body make our own natural NAD+. And then it also has 10 other ingredients in it that help target our cells' integrity and help our health span. And so it will replace the collagen and increase our NAD, and it slows biological aging. It helps our brain health. It helps more firmer, elastic skin, helps our muscles, and it helps increase our energy. And it's a packet that we mix with water once a day. Now, some people take it more than once a day. You can do that, but the box comes with 30, and so it's kind of a month's supply. So with the collagens that we have out there, the collagen that doTERRA has is 12 times more bioavailable or more absorbable than a lot of the other collagens on the market. The other thing is that most collagens on the market only have 1 or 2 types of collagen, and mostly they help with our skin, because that's what most women are worried about, or most people, I shouldn't say women, but the doTERRA has 9 different types of collagen. So it addresses the types of collagen that help our skin, but it also addresses collagen that helps our connective tissue, our ligaments, our tendons, our muscles. And so it helps us recover from workouts faster, and it helps us with our mobility. And so what you do is you mix the MetaPWR Advantage with cold or room temperature water, and you mix it right before you drink it. Now, a lot of the other collagens that are on the market, they're already liquid. And the problem with that is that they have to heat that liquid up to sterilize it. And it breaks down the integrity of the collagen, and it breaks down a lot of the other vitamins or minerals or flavonoids and things that are in the collagen. So you don't want to heat up the collagen. And I know there's a lot of people when I've been teaching classes that they say, oh, I take a collagen that I mix with coffee. And I just cringe, because coffee's hot, and so it's going to be breaking down their collagen and not helping them as much. And so they also, doTERRA hydrolyzes their collagen. And so what that means is they break it down into little tripeptide fragments, which makes it absorb a lot better. And so most products only have like 15 to 30% of their product is hydrolyzed, where MetaPWR has over 70%. And so I like that we're getting a lot better and more absorbable collagen. They harvest their collagen from cold water marine fish in Italy, and their collagen is also tested for heavy metals, which I thought was very impressive, because doTERRA is really good about testing all of their products for heavy metals, and they said that this one is tested more for heavy metals than any other product that they have. So in this collagen, they have a lot of different ingredients that are very helpful for us. And so, of course, they have the marine collagen that's going to help our skin and our joints and our connective tissue. But it also has the NMN and NADH that help our body increase our own production of NAD+. And I heard that, or I read that only it took 2 weeks. They tested some people, and in 2 weeks, their NAD plus went up by 20%, which I thought was pretty impressive because if you remember, by the time we're 50, we have half the amount of NAD plus that we did when we were 20. And so it only took 2 weeks with this product to increase it by 20%. So we also have hyaluronic acid. And hyaluronic acid is in a lot of beauty products, but it's in topical products. And so it's so much more effective when we ingest it. I really like that this has resveratrol. So resveratrol is been talked about a lot because of COVID and long haul COVID syndrome. And so resveratrol is really good at being able to reverse some of those things. And I think part of it is because resveratrol increases the body's production of NAD+. So it also has liposomal vitamin C, which is really good for our immune system. It's good for our skin, and research shows that it helps promote weight loss. And then it has biotin, which is good for skin and hair, and it has different extracts that are antioxidants. So it's just such a great product. And they did a point or a price point value thing, and they took all of those products and individually bought them, or would see how much it would cost on Amazon, and all of those products together would be over $300. And so the MetaPWR Advantage product is $84.50, which is really less than a coffee every day. And so I thought that was such a good value. And so the whole oh, sorry, I'm not there yet. But so what I like about all of these products is that they combat all of our health obstacles, maturing fat cells with the MetaPWR oil or the soft gels. It helps with curb our cravings. Sorry. It helps with blood sugar spikes and our insulin spikes. It helps with our cellular integrity. And with all of this information, it helps kind of combat inferior supplements, because we know doTERRA is a good product, and they take pride in their products. So this is just kind of an overview of the MetaPWR system. And I know that was a ton of information. Sorry to overload you guys, but what I want to just kind of go over really quickly, just as a review, because it was so much information. So the step one is the metabolic blend, and you have the oil, the soft gels, the beadlets or the gums. You can put that in your water. You can use the beadlets or the gum for curbing your cravings. And I use the soft gels just 3 times a day to help prevent those fat cells from maturing. The next one is that MetaPWR Assist that you would take 15 to 30 minutes before your largest meal or your largest meals, or you can even take it with your meals. And it will help reduce how fast your sugars absorb into your bloodstream, so you won't have those big insulin and sugar spikes. And then the next one is the MetaPWR Advantage. It's just, you mix it with water, and you can mix it with a little bit of water, or you can mix it with a lot of water. It's whatever you want. And you want to make sure you're mixing it with cold water or room temperature water. Just don't mix it with hot water. And that helps increase our collagen and our NAD+, and all of those other things that it had in it. So this is kind of just like a daily schedule, like a little review. And then, so the whole system is $179, which I think overall is a pretty cheap price. I've taken other collagens in there. Just the collagen alone is a lot more than that. The nice thing about this kit is it comes, if you're not already a doTERRA customer, you get a free enrollment with that. And so it waives that $35 enrollment fee. And with that, you get access to all of doTERRA's products for the year for at wholesale price, so 25% off. Now, if you're a customer already, you can buy this for $179, or you can buy it individually as well. And if you're an LRP customer, if you buy their vitamins, you can get other products at a discounted price, which includes the collagen, or you can buy the collagen and say you want to have your husband take the collagen too, or your spouse, then you can buy it. It's about $20 cheaper. Or you can buy the beadlets that come with the the MetaPWR Assist at a cheaper price. So they kind of let you combine these different products. And one thing I want to go over just really quick is that their lifelong vitality pack is their #1 product, and it's so awesome. I've been taking them for about 5 years, and there's 3 different things in there. There's the microplex VMs, which are whole food vitamins and minerals, so they absorb a lot better. They're much better than the synthetic vitamins that you get most other places. It has the alpha CRS, which is kind of the powerhouse vitamin or supplement, and it helps your mitochondrial function, and it also detoxifies the body. And then it has the fish oils, and the fish oils are really good for cardiovascular health, joint health, brain health. Our brain is 80% fat, so we probably should feed it with healthy fat. And these fish oils really help combat depression. And so overall, they really have good products to help our metabolism, our energy, and you can combine them with the vitamins if you'd like. So that's kind of my overview, and I want to turn it over to Molly because she has there's a really great thing that doTERRA is doing. It's a challenge with the MetaPWR, and so I'm going to let her kind of talk about that.